Hey guys, as you can tell, I've gone mobile. I just saw that Around the Verse 3.7 dropped last night, and rather than just wait until later to watch it and react to it, which we all know can't happen, so I figured, hey, what better way to use my lunchtime? I want to watch this. This one's actually 30 minutes long as well. It's kind of interesting, kind of excited. First off, you guys have helped me out with a lot of knowledge gaps in this game so far. So I appreciate all the comments that have come in. You guys have been awesome. So, and to answer some of your questions, I actually do own. I did purchase this game, the Aurora, way back in the day, probably about a year ago now. I haven't actually gotten a chance to check out 2.5. That's what's live, right? 2.5. So, a lot of you guys offered to show me around, and I'm probably actually going to take you up on it because I feel like once I actually get in game, there's going to be even more to learn. But all that out of the way, right? Let's look to the future. So let's check out 3.7 of Around the Verse. Man, I love that intro. Community subscribers.
Hello,
Hello.
welcome to episode 7 of Around the Verse, our weekly update behind the scenes of Star Citizen. I'm Chris Roberts.
And I'm Sandy Gardner. We are another week closer
Chris
to
and Sandy, my new best friends.
But we were lacking any sort of feedback for flying through the debris cloud that remains.
That's pretty cool.
So I've been working on sounds for that aspect. And to do that...
Actually, if you think about it, yeah, you don't
it's
really
not
hear
feasible to have a physical
debris sound
particle
effects when you
for
fly
every
through it,
bit of
right?
Debris that is generated. So what
That's
I do
kinda
is
cool.
I take all of the output I generate one by one and drop them into
Man, the attention to
digital audio
detail, man.
workstation where I can set up an effects chain of a reverb for the front and a reverb for the back. I'm using Altiverb in this case, model of a Sikorsky. So when we play the output of all these generated files, they're very dry, but then when I enable the effects, they start to take on some character of, impacting a hull.
I actually kind of
And
like
I
the
can
first
adjust
version
some
a
of
little bit better.
The qualities of that. We've got the front and the back here.
Still cool. They probably just had a brainstorming session like,
And so I would take all of this output. And
what are all the
render it
cool
through
things we
effect,
could just add into
and
this
that can
game?
be one. There's a chance we might be able to do the effects part in real time, but for right now in the prototyping, we're just hard baking the assets with reverb in them. So now into gameplay. Let's check this out. I'm gonna
So the
solo
reverb is
just
actually going to be
the explosion and the
dynamic.
debris cloud, so that we don't have to.
That's cool.
As you get around it.
Sounds like it might be a
you
little
don't
bit
want
too
it to
early
last
too.
Too long, although.
And yes,
That's not so
I actually agree. I think it's lasting too long. That's really cool. Look at that. It's a little test
So you can
environment
see
to
that
test
the
this debris
random
sound
position of the
effects.
particles
That's cool.
and the randomness of the pre-baked sounds kind of works usually. There's a few times where you'll see a large chunk go past your screen and you'll hear a sound and you're like, oh my god, that was perfect. Oh, there's other times you'll see the chunk go by and not hear a sound.
You guys are
and
going to
it's
kill
like,
me,
well, okay.
but
Maybe it didn't hit me.
like I think that
So now I'm basically sitting still. This really doesn't happen in gameplay much though, so it's not really a valid test.
I feel like
suppose it's
the massive
possible
amount of
you could
debris
be
hits,
still
like
next to an
the
explosion just by
concentration is
happenstance.
too great too
So we
soon.
need it to work in all cases.
It's still really cool though.
So the mixing and the fine tuning is stuff that we'll definitely
Fair enough.
do, and I can do a demonstration of that right now.
Everyone's a critic, I know. Whoa.
I think it's something that we didn't have before, and that when we put it in, hopefully it'll help people have a little more joy out of the kill they just did.
Thanks, Jason. That's
gonna
really
give me so
great.
much
It's
joy.
amazing the level of detail that goes
That's really
into
cool.
making these sounds.
That's kind of cool.
And then we also have the publishing team, which does the
publishing
actual
teams and-
publishing
got it.
of the game. This is
The
the fun
publishing
part
team's in
where we
charge of
take
the
what's been
updater.
approved by QA and our leads throughout the company.
I wonder how often
We
that
can,
guy gets a haircut.
This team will publish that throughout
He keeps it pretty close.
process through PTU and then eventually to the live service. Even if there's only 3 files that changed in a 2 gig file size, once they're recompressed, the patcher sees this as one giant 2 gig file. If you make these changes across a large number of files, you wind up with a 20 gig patch. So what we're doing is we're breaking.
I haven't
all of
actually
this
updated
apart.
the game in a while.
So
Is
that
that
now
are
we
you
can
guys
add
getting
the
like
patcher
1,
can
2, 3
actually
gig
look at only the
updates?
files that have changed, not the big bundles of change.
That's pretty cool.
This way, we're hoping that we can deliver. We're really hoping for 10% of the overall payload that we're delivering now.
With 2.6, we're excited to release the
Drake
Drake Herald,
Herald.
and it's our first info runner ship. What that really is going to mean is you're going to have
Info
these big
runner?
data banks on the outside of the ship. They're going to have a lot of volume to store, intel assets. This will be stuff, locations of where research data might be found, mining sites, salvage locations, a ship black box.
Wait,
any of the
is info running a
intangible you can
career?
think of is kind of what we're looking at with intel and what an info runner is going to be carrying around.
So one thing when flying around in the Herald that players are going to notice is
That
the
is
ship
cool.
really, really fast. It has
Look
I
at
think,
that
the biggest
thing.
engines per
Look at the
mass
size of that
on a
engine.
ship so far.
That's ridiculous.
So,
So,
dragster, I would
It has
assume you're gonna see a
data
lot of
banks,
these
right? So it doesn't need a lot of
places.
inventory space, but it has
Like I
data
said,
space
they're hard to catch.
in the info
super
banks.
fast.
So
We got
can I carry
loaded
around
as well?
Wow, so can I carry around, like
lots and lots of countermeasures.
locations and information
So
on like
with
enemies
all the ships pretty
whereabouts
much
or
an
like
asset. This ship.
I think you
will
said like
be the
mining
specs, the
locations.
design, the intent of the ship.
Wow, I wonder if it's gonna be
Usually. break
That's a
out
place
the
you could kind of
keywords, and those will be my motif for the
get some
ship.
unique
For
information,
this ship, I use
differentiate yourself,
speed,
so to speak. If I have unique
science,
information that I'm
tech,
selling, as long as that
innovation,
information can be like
also the motif of
player
Drake
based,
had
you know what I
to
mean?
be
It's not
rooted
just
in
like
when designing
this
the
planet
ship,
is
which
here and this mining site's here.
bare
If it's something
bones,
specific for maybe like a player
it's
organization
wires,
or
exposed, it's trellis work.
Wow, that's
it's,
I didn't know that
it's
existed.
not as
Holy espionage.
Built, we've got to make
Oh
it a
man,
little bit more
imagine if you
space
could
so
pass like
your average standing guy can get through and move around stuff.
destruction
Definitely see that with
techniques.
the
Man,
much
my head's
possible.
trying to get around all the different types of
And
information you
also
can
some of that
smuggle.
back wall area was restructured a bit to open up.
Is there going to be like
a
scanners to like
so
detect
that
information or
even
illegal
if that
information,
seat's
stuff like that? Like,
extended
am I going to have
and
to?
someone's getting out of it,
Is there going to be like an
another player or
information
an NPC can
trader
walk
versus
behind
an
that seat
information
cleanly without having to
smuggler?
into the walls or bounce all over the place.
When we start the design process
That'd be
for
kinda cool.
the vehicle destruction system, we come in and I will talk with art and design, and we
This
will
guy's a sweet beard.
sort of work out underneath the exterior hull of the ship.
Is that the damage layer?
There is an underlying sort of damaged skin and gubbins. Now, the reason we have this is because now we've added a damage shader that you've probably seen that creates a sort of warping metal sort of effect, and you can punch through and you can see through the ship. That consists of the outer shell.
So if I shoot
the
that
underlying
damage layer,
gubbins, and the
well, if I
active
shoot the outer
geometry.
layer,
Now, all these need to
the
sort
shader
of
becomes
blend together at the
transparent.
end of the
I can
day.
see the
So
damage
part of my
shader, and then the
process
damage
is
shader,
to
if that
check
gets
for
shot,
all the different parts of
it
geometry.
becomes transparent, and I
wanna
can
check
see
for what are
through
called
to.
UVs. UVs
the
are
inside
what
of the ship?
texture is placed on. That creates the actual
So there's no
visual
new
of the asset. And then we
polygons
also have
being,
another layer called
or I should say, no new
UV2. So these are what the
vertices
damage
being
shader actually
created,
works on. We can
which
see that in the editor
thereby
here over in
creates
the top
polygons,
left
more
corner.
polygon
These would be
count,
the
higher
UV2s.
polygon count.
This is what the damage
So it doesn't
map shader
affect
is actually
the
applied to. So when I shoot the ship,
polygon
there will be
count. It
ripples
just
and distortion
affects
and metal bending.
The translucency
In
of the
conjunction
shader,
with that,
right?
I also have to create little sort
that
of
how it's
explosive
working?
charges, and they're basically a little explosive charge. Now, what I did here is
Oh
I
my
set
God.
up sort of little
Copy,
group of them,
paste, paste,
and
paste,
this
paste,
group of
paste,
them is
paste.
just a
I would
bunch of
like
different
paste like
effects
300
that
of
are
them.
generalized and
And they
used in
probably
different
do,
ships.
actually.
Explosions,
They could have a lot of
sparks,
fun with that job.
fire, etc., etc. So on and so forth. As you see, some pieces are floating away, some pieces are kind of just sitting around. Those are called vectors, and those are little force pushes that are set in the XML. That tells the piece how hard it should fly off the ship and in what direction. As I come in, I just keep going around the ship looking for areas that are not working correctly.
Is there external physics forces that
So
apply
this
to
area,
that
for
though?
example,
Like
is
the
working
XML
correctly. We
says
see we are getting
the
bullet
XML
holes. The procedural system is working.
says
the V2s are working. So on
this
and so
piece should
forth,
push
but
out in this
an area that I
direction,
know it doesn't
but
really work is up here.
Does that piece then
When we
get
take a look, we see we're
handled
kinda
by
getting a
gravity or
little,
any
nothing
other
really
kind of
going on
external
there.
physical
Well,
forces?
that means I have to go back into max and kind of figure out why. Maybe
Kinda curious about that.
UV2s, all that fun stuff.
What a job.
But pretty much, in closing, that's how we put together some of the damage. It's a mix between 3D Studio Max, XML, and the CryEngine. It's a very iterative process, going back and forth until it's refined, and then you hand it off to the professionals at the end,
3D Studio
and
Max.
they sort of tweak the graphic.
3D,
the sort of
3D Max
VFX,
is more
they
geared
tweak the
towards
explosions,
games, and
health,
Maya's more
damage, and
toward
lighting.
animation.
So, that's it.
Is that a
Enjoy.
correct differentiation right now, or is it really
There you
gonna
go.
change it now?
I'm pretty excited about the potential of.
I thought I heard
more
that somewhere. It's
non-combat
been a while
focused
since I've been in
specialty ships in
either
Star
program.
Citizen, especially as we move towards 3.0 and the full persistent universe.
And it's faster than an M50 in a straight line.
That's what I
I'm
heard.
happy about.
That's what I heard in cruise mode.
While it's been another week of
Oh my
development,
God.
it's also been another week of amazing fan content.
That's why I use jump cut sometimes.
So
right?
let's go to Tyler Whitcomb
Stuff
to
like that.
present this week's community.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey everyone, Tyler Whitkin, Community Manager in
buddy.
the Austin, Texas studio, here to bring you this week's community update. Also, last Saturday we had a blast at the Austin Bar Citizen, and just as a reminder, there's another Bar Citizen
When are
this
you coming to
Saturday,
New York?
this time in Orlando, Florida.
When are you coming
Find
to
out
New
all
York?
the details at tinyurl.com/Florida Bar Citizen. This week's RSI newsletter, coming out
They have no
tomorrow,
New York
features
office,
an
do they?
extra special, so I highly encourage
I think someone
anybody
said
who's
they're
traveling
gonna
to
they're gonna
CitizenCon this
stream
year,
all
check
of
out the guide.
CitizenCon, right?
Congratulations
There's
again,
no
Jay
like
Corin. You're
exclusive
this
or
week's
VIP areas,
MVP.
right? Everything's going
Thanks
to be
again,
available
everyone, for all your support, and we'll see you
for
in
us
the
to
verse.
watch. Does anyone know?
A few weeks ago, we profiled some of the dynamic sound effects as we walked
I
through
hope so.
our crashed ship demo.
Yeah, so now
Hey, I'm Ross.
Hello there, I'm Sam.
Sweet
I'm going to describe
neck
how
tattoo.
the interactive music system works in Star Citizen.
Whatever you're doing, we're making sure that the music system knows what you're doing and
Look
is
at all this
responding in a way
transparency,
that's
man. This is just
appropriate
awesome.
and cool and cinematic.
Can you imagine
So I'll show you some examples.
if like EA did this, or
So a really nice example.
even
we're
Blizzard?
working at
If
the moment
Blizzard
is the
gave us a
ambient
little
music.
insight into their
This is when
development
there's
process,
not really
more of
any
a
combat or anything
insight.
going on. We're just exploring spaces and stuff. At the moment, we're hearing some FPS music. So this is just
Isn't the feedback
engine knows
process
that we're
important
on
to these
foot.
guys? Like,
It's playing sort of a slightly synthy, slightly
don't they
tense
realize that this is
underscore.
good?
It's very ambient. Then as you move into the ship,
This is a good thing.
it'll slowly
This invokes
transition
community.
to a more grand kind of exploration kind of
This
feel
whole
to the
thing is
music.
just- That's cool.
There we go. And now we've got this really cool, ethereal, almost Kraftwerk-esque ambient music. All of this by Pedro.
Hedro.
And see, this is all based on conditions that Sam Hall and I have been working on. We know we're floating, we know that we're not in any immediate danger, so we've got this beautiful exploratory, quite sort of a sense of wonder music playing.
So this kind
Where
of
the system
dynamic
most
view
is when
system has
you're
been
dogfighting. So here we have
used
two
a lot
pirates
in
coming
games. Do you guys think that this
Immediately,
is one of the more
we'll be getting
advanced
some,
systems? Like,
some
do you think most
tension music.
systems
That's
are
based
like
on the fact we have
most of
some
these dynamic
unknown
music
guys
systems are
approaching.
like
So the system's told us
you're
two
walking
guys have just
calm.
arrived. They seem to be a threat, so that's pushed
Like,
up the tension parameter. Now I'm
intermediate
starting to fire on them.
music loops to bring you
And
into
then
like
returning
a
fire.
high intensity battle or something like
We'll
that.
start to
Like,
really see the
do you
the
think there's
system
like
ramp up now.
usually
The
like 2, 3,
intensity
4,
number,
5
which is the real
different
backbone of this
types of
system,
transitions
is gonna
in
start going crazy as
dynamic
your
music
shield
games?
It's getting hit.
And this is like
You're hitting the guys.
50
These numbers are
in
constantly
terms of
being
comparison
fed in.
data points.
As that number
I'm
rises,
wondering
we
if-
move through
I'm wondering
way
if-
out of
I'm
the
wondering if,
ambient area into low action.
I'm wondering if Star Citizen
medium
has taken
action,
this
eventually
the
high
next
action,
level.
which is really crazy. We also get a little sting there that plays whenever you kill one of the bad guys. The engine has a chance to play.
I feel like they have a
little,
chance. I feel like they have an
victory
opportunity
sting.
to kind of differentiate themselves
Yeah,
a
we
lot
kinda it's pushed us
in this
into the
area
hero
too.
state now, so
Just
the
like
music's
just like in the
got
beginning,
heroic,
the
got big brass sections.
sound effects with
And
the
that'll
debris and stuff.
swell
Like,
back down again because all these parameters all decay back down to like
I feel like there's some
a stasis.
dynamic music events that they can latch onto that hasn't been done before.
So successfully hitting bad guys, your ship getting blown up, all manner of parameters. That's our momentaries. And then we have the long-term information. We have the ship's intensity. That's the
Momentaries.
big number that's our backbone.
I think that's what I'm talking about.
The mood, and all manner of other parameters that we can use to feed into the system in any combination of ways. And you can see we're getting information in about events here. So we've hit the shield to the ship, so that's good. That feeds into it.
Yep, the player's ship has been hit.
Wow, considers like
this
cool.
constant feed of information. That's what I can rely on to tweak the numbers. In the
that's
music
cool.
logic
Like
system
if it gets
to make
data
sure,
that
you know, the system doesn't
your
get
enemy's
too
ships are
crazy.
going down faster than your ships, maybe the
Drop
music
high
is a little
action
more
too
positive.
fast or anything like that.
Otherwise, there's a little more like
We saw,
urgent,
ship destroyed.
doom,
That's a cool
you're about to be
military sting.
blown to hell music play. That's
All of
cool.
this, although we're seeing
Those are
this
cool data
in
points.
the flight mode at the moment, we're working on it for 2.6 to make sure that these numbers translate into the FPS game mode, and eventually also just in EVA combat as well. So no matter what you're doing, this stuff is always appropriate, and the music will shift to suit the EVA or the FPS environment. And just like the flight combat music, we have heroic EVA music, we have grim EVA music, exactly the same setup, just with a whole different mood to the music and a different set of actual music loops.
So a
And the same thing
completely
here
different
now with,
set of
with
music loops
FPS. This is
for
something we'll be seeing very
first
soon.
person.
This is the same system again, but
First
this
person
time we're
mode.
getting hit by, it could be pirates attacking us, and we're on foot, so the music is a bit more personal, a bit more.
What if I really
synthy
like
and
some of
dark.
that music?
You get that kind of grand space music for the space flight, but we'll go a little more tense and synthetic for.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
It's got a little more action,
So
got a
again,
little
you
more
can hear that music
flavor.
swelling and falling.
It's got a little more drums.
This will be a constant background between all these systems.
I get it.
And this will be on its feet and working forever. It's a system that's self-managing and autonomous, really, and will just work, which is awesome. So that's music.
I like that
logic.
confidence.
That's,
It'll
what
just-
Sam Hall and I have been
it'll
building
just
in
work.
DataForge. We're really, really proud of how far it's come.
Whoa,
It's
he
gonna
looked
be
like Mel
available in
Gibson to me
2.6,
for a second.
and that'll
That
be
was
just
weird.
the beginning. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and grander and grander. But hope you enjoyed it.
That's a sweet tattoo.
Thanks very much, Russ. That is
So that music logic system is actually an evolution of a dynamic music system that I first created for Wing Commander called Origin FX.
Origin
Obviously
FX.
It's a lot more powerful and robust, but very cool.
it definitely gives the player a more personalized experience.
I like how he
It
tossed
makes
that
them
in.
feel Like they're in their own movie or something. Very cool.
Fun fact.
There we go. Place.
I feel like I should buy
Next
another
week,
ship
we'll
now.
head out to our
Like I
Frankfurt
have the
office, so
Aurora.
make sure to tune in for
I feel like I need to buy something else now.
Yes. So that's the show for this week.
I just
thank
don't
you
know
all for
what.
watching, and we'll
What do I
see
buy?
you
Around the verse.
It's funny. All right, so there's some cool stuff in that. There was actually some unexpected stuff. The detail and the sound effects in the beginning were that was phenomenal. I was just being a jerk, but that's just really cool. I'm trying to think of other space sims. I don't remember ever hearing like flying through stuff. That's cool. I wonder if you're gonna get like planetary dust, like little sound effects of the planetary dust, or maybe like if you're shot, maybe you can hear like penetration of the bullets, some sort of penetration sound effect if any lasers or ammunition is getting through your ship. It's kind of interesting. And imagine if you have surround sound going on, like I'm sure it's gonna be fully, what's the term, spatialize it. That's an excellent touch. The testing environment they had was kind of neat too. I like that. On the fly. Explosion. All the patching information sounded really, really cool. Breaking it down so we don't have to do 1, 2, 3 gig patches. Although I haven't experienced that lately, so I'm just assuming that's an issue. Does anyone actually know more about that? Like they mentioned compression, but formerly the file was compressed. So if they're no longer having to compress, I guess are the new files compressed too, or are they just altering files directly? I mean, I guess I'm assuming they're smaller compressed chunks that they're splitting it up into. You said like 1/10 or something. Either way, it's good news. The info runner. Wow, I need to immediately look up more information on that. I'm just trying to wrap my head, trying to theorize all the different types of information you could steal. Like that's just cool. Imagine if the crafters, the traders get their way or whatever, and there's like this modding or altering something. It's like a secret. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but the information has been leaked and it's up for sale. And then there's a huge battle for trying to obtain the information to adding another point of durability on a mod repair or a tune-up. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do with info running. Plus, the engines on that ship look ridiculous. I don't assume that's available to buy yet either, right? The damage models looked awesome. You guys were telling me about that before, but it was kind of neat to get a first look into that. It was kind of interesting. If it works the way I think it works, then we're not going to get a higher polygon count or anything. It's just going to be all handled with the shaders. Other than that, the music, right? The music just... I'm just curious about the density. I'm curious how advanced they can get. He mentioned they're going to be able to add little notes and stuff when a ship passes, like do-do-do-do-do-do. Like, because it scared you because a ship just came out from behind you or something. I'm wondering if they'll experiment with it, I guess. Like, are they going to add, like, comedic beats? But I don't even know what the hell a space comedic beat would be. Like, maybe a ship comes up to you, like, is in attack formation, and they come up to you and they just stop or something. Is the music going to be able to be like, like, give you an equivalent effect of, like what's going to happen? I don't know. It'll be cool to play around with that. Other than that, I'm just waiting for these guys to visit New York. That's what I'm going to do after this. I'm going to look up and see if they have an office in New York, and then I'm going to head over there and knock on the door until they let me in. All right, guys, that was fun. That was a good around the verse. It was a lot of stuff you didn't think to ask about, but now that you know about it, you can appreciate all the time and effort that's going into it. A lot of detail work. Jesus, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. Please, if you like the content, give me a subscribe, give me a like. Otherwise, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it in the comments. Other than that, I have some other fight scene reaction videos coming that you guys requested, and some other trailer reactions. So that's coming down the pipe this weekend as well. Other than that, I'll check out Reverse the Burst early next week because I'll be away for the weekend. So you guys have a wonderful weekend and be safe. Every day.